It's the country's #1 RVing radio show, sponsored by RVTravel.com, with your host, Alan Warren, the RV Wingman.
All right, we're talking with our friend Kevin Frazer about Camping World and the very scary position that they are in financially. Really scary for investors. Kevin, let's talk again, kind of sum up the class action lawsuits that have been brought forth against Camping World for people that haven't been following the story. And then I want to talk about how Marcus and his group of millionaires are paying for these lawsuits.
Okay. The first one was unleashed last October. Then the last one was filed, Lincolnshire Police Pension Fund versus Camping World Marcus Lemoynis et al., the policeman's pension fund from their hometown near Chicago. All of these suits allege pump and dump, which in legal is insider trading and unjust enrichment. They in the past they have overstated the profits. Each time they take the profits and they restate them, they always restate them lower. Just last month, the profits for the first quarter of last year were stated down 45%. Now, and most important of all, to investors, they were led to believe that they were buying shares to help build up the company to be a normal company to make money, and well, that wasn't true. $530 million, I thought it was $435, but the lawyers found out it was $530 million was directed into the pockets of Marcus Lemoynis and his Crestview partners. That's why they have a terrible debt ratio, 151 to 1. If they had let that money go into the Camping World company, Camping World would have a debt ratio of 6.6 to 1. They'd still be doing all the nasty things we know about, but they wouldn't be at the door of bankruptcy. Now that's what we're talking about, because if you've got a Camping World policy, even a gap policy, but most of the people who are listening to you have, or some of them have, a Camping World extended service protection plan.
Yes.
You're unsecured creditors. If Camping World files bankruptcy or is forced into bankruptcy, you don't get nothing. It's gone. You're unsecured creditors. Oh, and then, wait till you hear about this. This happened during the investors' conference call, where in his own words, Marcus Lemoynis is telling us about all his problems. He says to his CFO, Mel Flanagan, well, we have one of those stores that was a Camping World. We closed it. We opened it as a gander. We need inventory there. And he says, oh, well, we don't really have any inventory we can put there. We don't have the money to buy more. So what we have to do is close another store so we can get that gander opened. Listen to what Lemoynis has. He figures he can make his own customers pay for the inventory he's not having. His new inventory is down 20%, so he's going to replace it with used. He sent mailers out to everybody that bought something from him 12 through 17, telling them he'll buy their RV back for them for top dollar. But when you get there, they say, oh, you owe too much. We offer to put it on consignment, and then we'll pay off your loan later on.
And we're going to talk about that in our next segment, because don't fall for that trick, folks. Now, Kevin, you talk with a lot of bankers. What are you hearing from them regarding Camping World, real quickly?
Oh, the whole industry is making book on not when, or not if, but when, and under what circumstances. People are making book on this. Now, the bankers that I talked to yesterday and today, they say it's not imminent. It's a public company. The thing is, and I can talk to you about covenants, because they got problems with covenants. And you don't even know what a covenant is. Anyway, covenant is in a loan. It says these are the things you must do and those that you cannot ever do. And during that conference call, the CFO, the chief financial officer of the bank, said, well, we just barely made it, but we got into compliance by the end of the month of March, except for one, but it's not really a covenant. It's more of a suggestion. I haven't heard talk like this from a CFO. This is stone cold crazy.
And that's one reason why the stock is just dropping like you said.
When people start paying attention to just how bad it is, it's going to go a lot faster. But it's like a big Jenga tower. And all these creditors, he's got a dozen banks, they're all afraid to be the one to pull out that one stick that makes the tower go down. So there's going to be delays, but just enough delays for the people with, and not just the extended service things, but the gap policies too, to make their applications to get, and they'll get the money too.
So hang on. Let's go back to, if I own an ESP, I'm a Camping World customer, bought an RV and an ESP within the last 5 years. I've been making payments on it. I want to get my money back. I know I can buy another one cheaper someplace else. that's the video that we have done. I mean, the video that you and I did last year was pretty powerful. I think this one that we're going to release tonight is going to knock the ball out of the park.
Thank you, Katie. Your Good Sam ESP how to get your money back, ! But act with haste. That's why I'm on tonight. This stuff just happened in the last 2 weeks. Nobody, you say the people driving down the street see those shiny Camping Worlds and said they can't go broke. Yeah, this stuff came out just in the last 2 weeks. And what made these ratios go crazy is finally the government made them report all their debt. Oh, look, if somebody wants to consign something, you got RV Nana. She's been around. You can trust her, but don't give it to Camping World. And then what if they're getting close to bankruptcy? Do you even know what out of trust means when a vehicle is sold in such a way?
Talk about it, and we're going to talk about it some more in the next segment, too, because listen to this, folks. Very important.
Okay. When people, your listeners in California have a very recent example of this. They're in Northern California. They had stores in Sacramento and near San Francisco. It was called Two Rivers RV. Last December, I get a telephone call. A guy says to me, he's all upset. He wants to know where my title is. After I get him all calmed down, it turns out he had talked to my brother the month before and did not buy his motorhome from us. He bought it for $10,000 less from a place called Two Rivers RV, but he bought it out of trust. A company that is in financial trouble, they don't have to worry about selling it for more than it cost them because they're never going to pay for it. It's all borrowed money. So now this poor guy doesn't have a title. The bank that had the floor plan thinks they own it, and the guy owns it, and the guy has a loan on it, so that bank thinks he owns it, and we're going to the courts for all that kind of craziness. People from California remember even a worse example from 10 years ago, a place called McMahon's. McMahon's burned hundreds, it might have been 1,000 people that bought RVs that didn't belong to McMahon's, and they were never paid for. And right at the end, middle managers and line staff were in on it. They called it their severance package. They were telling people, you buy an RV today for 50 cents on the dollar and pay us today, and you'll get the bargain of a lifetime. And they were rushing to the bank to cash the checks so that they could pay their own severance pay. They felt they were getting ripped off. If you don't think this will happen in Camping World, you're not looking at Piss Consumer and the other websites.
You've got to, Kevin, let me jump in here real quick. Folks, what we're talking about, this is not based on emotion. We're not trying to make an attack. In fact, Kevin, why are you doing this? Why is this so important to you? You made the video January, I guess, of 18. Yeah, January of 18 it came out, but about the truth about Camping World. Why are you doing this? You just want to be mean and be a bully and destroy Marcus?
Hey, look, I'm a little emotional about this because Marcus Lemoynis bought the local RV store I've been competing with for 50 years, and he told the manager there he could have a $250,000 bonus if he put us out of business, and they used every dirty trick and nasty you can imagine. I'm not going to tell you what they are because somebody else might try them again. I don't want to tell them which ones that worked. No, with me it's kind of personal, and it is kind of emotional.
Yes, but what are these Camping World techniques, these tactics that they're using on people doing to the industry?
They're not the only ones. Okay, I get these consultants come in and say, you have to do it this way or Camping World will beat you. Of course. And so now it's not just Camping World doing it. And Camping World, by their own arithmetic in another conference call by Marcus Lemoynis, we got about 310,000 people we've put in RVs in the last few years that can never trade out. They owe so much they're going to be upside down until they retire.
Yep.
That's 15% of the damn business. We're in a permanent recession just because of Lemoynis, and we don't know how many other RV companies are following the tactics, but there's a lot of them. This is killing our business. And what about the people that fall prey to these tactics? What happens to their future? And they don't ever buy another RV either. Would you, with such a sour experience, with such a nasty, financially ruining experience, you'd leave the business. And our industry has always relied on people, well, not buying one, but buying four. That's the only way you can have a future in this business. Camping World has taken away our future. Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Kevin, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you doing what you do and sharing this with our listeners. Folks, his name is Kevin Frazer. He is our RV dealer sponsor out of Iowa called Cheyenne Camping Center. This man is solid as a rock. And if he says it, you can count on it. Kevin and I have produced a video that will tell you exactly, not just why, but how to cancel your Good Sam ESP and why now is the time you need to take action. We've got Kevin for one more segment. Y'all stick around. I'm Alan Warren, the RV Wingman, loving what we're doing today. And what a response from our live stream viewers to this hour's topic on how to cancel your Good Sam ESP. Kevin Frazer is with us from Cheyenne Camping Center. We're discussing how Camping World tactics have made a very few people really, really rich at the expense of tens of thousands of customers, stockholders, and the future of the RV industry. So, Kevin, you told me a long time ago that Warren Buffett, the billionaire investor, has a philosophy when he buys a company and how that differs from the Camping World model. Would you mind sharing that with our listeners, please?
Yeah, the way I look at it and the way that Buffett looks at it, because he said once in his speech, I can only recline in the shade under this tree because those that came before me planted and nurtured it. When he buys a company, he keeps the people that made the company. He believes that a company is people. I believe that a company is a village made up of people. When Lemoyne buys a dealership, he pushes them all out. That's why you can't get competent service done. That's why they hire salesmen who are so, let's say, flexible.
That's
because
nice.
he needs that. He needs to knock the cost down to nothing. He's chopping down the entire orchard. He doesn't care about the fruit. He's selling the timber and moving on quickly because this is not a real company. They never intended for this to be a going concern. And the reason I knew that, and when I talked to lawyers on the phone, I said, you know that they didn't intend for this to be a going concern because when they had the opportunity to put foundation capital into the company, they siphoned it into their own profits in the secondary offerings in May and October of 17. And that's what all these lawsuits allege.
Folks, Good Sam ESP holders, if you happen to hold a Good Sam ESP, an extended service protection plan, if you'd like to get in a better financial position, protect yourself from possibly losing your Good Sam policy altogether and quite likely putting up to thousands of dollars back in your pocket, or at least against the loan that I say you're probably buried in, you must watch
don't forget they're paying interest on that money. The sooner they cash it in, the less interest they pay.
Absolutely. You must watch our YouTube video. It's entitled Your Good Sam ESP, How to Cancel It! ! Now, we're going to have to start wrapping this thing up with some of the action steps of do's and don'ts. So what kind of action steps are you thinking about, Kevin?
How do you mean? I'm now confused by your question. The first thing you do is download this video, Your Good Sam ESP, How to Get Your Money Back, ! That Katie did such a good job on. Watch it. Go to the PDF, which is like an ebook. Download the 15 pages, and then start filling it in. It's simple arithmetic. It's easy to do. Follow the instructions. Send it into Camping World. Expect your money back. That PDF, and the video by Katie tells everybody how to do it. Easy peasy.
Now, Camping World has not made it easy to get your money back. I mean,
oh hell no! They put up all kinds of barriers. If you call up Camping World, for heaven's sake, don't waste your time with that. Yeah, they're going to say to you, the first thing they'll say, and I've heard this over and over again, that ESP doesn't belong to you. Well, who does it belong to? It belongs to the bank. Don't worry about that. Just move on. And then they'll make an appointment for you to come in. They'll say you have to, if you're going to cash it out, you have to do that in person, and you can only do that at the Camping World store where you bought it. So if you bought your RV in North Carolina and right now you're in Oklahoma, you're expected to drive to North Carolina to do it.
It's not
None
true.
of that. They'll make appointments with you. You have to see this person. Oh, that person's no longer with the firm. They make another appointment. No, don't do that. Follow the instructions in the PDF. Follow the instructions in Katie's video. That'll take care of it. Do it that way. Do it by mail and get it done. Here's what Camping World's afraid of and why they will act on your request. They are under the regulation of the individual state's insurance commissioner. There's about nobody as powerful as an insurance commissioner. He doesn't even need an administrative law judge to get things done. If they're not doing what the law says they must do, i.e. making refunds on lawfully claimed refunds, that insurance commissioner can cut off all the revenues from that state without another moment's notice.
But you have to you have to cancel your ESP now before they file bankruptcy.
Do it now. If they get and look for a long time I was operating under the theory that they would do a voluntary BK. That's even been the gossip at the industry and on the financial pages. No. With all these lawsuits, now they're going to fight to keep it open so that the company can pay for the very expensive defense of these lawsuits.
Okay, so I've got to jump in here real quick. So the first thing, you got to watch the video, folks. Download the PDF. Follow the step-by-step instructions. The second thing, do not consign your RV through Camping World. Don't do it. Don't
give it to RV Nana. Don't give it to them.
Yeah, take it to PPL, somebody you can trust. The third thing is don't think you're going to be able to steal an RV, buy one if they go into bankruptcy, because you will end up experiencing a nightmare. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
So,
it sounds like it's too good to be true. Guess what? It is.
How quickly could things go downhill for Camping World in terms of bankruptcy?
What's going to happen suddenly? When it happens, it'll be sudden. And it'll be the result of something that happens in a courtroom or one of these creditors pulling out that last Jenga stick. Lemoyne is going to make – I couldn't believe the stuff I heard at that conference call. They screwed up and said things they should never have sold, but they tipped their hand just how desperate they are. They don't have any money. This consignment deal, they're going to the customers that they fleeced over since 2012 through 17. Lemoyne says he doesn't want any newer ones than that because they'll have to compete with distressed merchandise from the manufacturers. And they're saying to their own customers, well, you've got a big loan on that RV, so what we'd like you to do is let us sell it for you so you can be loaning the one you've got a loan on to us, and we're not going to pay you an interest, but it'll fill an inventory we don't have because we ran out of money. I can't believe the brazen boldness of this action.
All right, so in the last couple of minutes, I have to stop and I have to say thank you. I mean, thank you for doing so much, not for just customers of Cheyenne Camping Center, but for the entire industry, for RVers all over the country. I'm telling you, I am eternally grateful for that, Kevin Frazer, and for your friendship.
Oh, that's great praise indeed. But your team is grand. The work that Katie did is outstanding. And I love Brian, and I love you. Everything is working out. We're doing good stuff here.
Well, I know that we are making a positive difference. I can feel it. You know what? And I'm hopeful that somebody in the RV industry, a manufacturer, somebody will step forward and take a leadership role, not just in making the best RVs in the country, but actually providing customers with the best service, the best education possible. I don't expect somebody to be perfect, but good grief. I mean, there's such an opportunity here for somebody.
Wait a minute. If you get Lemoyne on, there's something important. In the summer of 17, when the stock was trading at 30, Lemoyne was asked how much the Camping World stock would be worth in 2 years, and he said 68. If you can get him on, can you find out if he meant cents?
It could happen. I mean, it could happen. You know, you look at it, it's just sad.
It's closed today at 11:31.
This insider trading in about 30 seconds, Kevin. What is this? I think I know what it is. It's a smoke screen. This insider trading. It's legal. You know, he's buying shares, 100,000 shares or so. His wife's buying some. They're swapping them back and forth. It's an illusion, a distraction.
Some of that. Look at if Lemoyne drops $1 million buying his own stock at these prices. What he's doing, he's giving back 2/10, 2 parts in 1,000 of the $530 million he and his Confederates made off with. If that $530 million was inside Camping World right now, we wouldn't be talking about the possibility of a bankruptcy. They never intended this to be a real company. They used the IPO was up and up. It was on the square. It was during the 2 supplemental offerings in May and October. I thought they grabbed 435 only, but the lawyers are alleging in all of these lawsuits that the total insider...
It's more than that.
The insider unjust enrichment was $530 million.
Good Lord. Kevin, I got to call it there. Got to let you go. Got to wrap it up. Thank you so much. We'll talk again real soon, okay?
Oh, thanks, amigo.
All right, good deal. All right, there you go, folks. That is the kind of people that we believe in. We trust, and you can trust. Cheyenne Camping Center was our first big RV dealer sponsor who supported what we are doing on the RV Show USA. They're good people out there, folks. There are. And we do our level best to steer you towards them and warn you about some of the dangers of others. Again, if Camping World does file bankruptcy protection in the future, you do not want to have your RV on their lot as a consignment. You do not want to fall for a steal of a deal of a possible new RV that you may never get title to. You must watch our video on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Type in the words, "Your Good Sam ESP, how to cancel it" in the search bar. Tell all your friends about it. Thank you to everybody listening, everyone who joined our live stream, to our supporters, sponsors, our military heroes and their families. This is Memorial Day weekend, a time to honor the fallen, those who have, they gave everything so you, me, we can live in the greatest country on earth. Take a minute this weekend to say a little prayer of thanks for what we are able to enjoy because of their sacrifice. I'm Alan Warren, the RV Wingman. Remember, don't leave your good manners at home. I'll catch you next time.